place for us to start is, let's look at the very first thing we do as therapists when it comes to working with clients, okay? Now, who here has had a client say before, my problem is stop smoking? My problem is anxiety. I have inner child problems. I have trauma. I have PTSD. That sounds pretty familiar from your clients, right? Has anyone heard those things and thought, I've got a script for that. I've got a technique for that. I know exactly what to do. Who's ever found themselves doing that? Stop it. Now, why would I say that? Why am I going to tell you to not listen to what your client tells you their problem is? Any ideas?
Because that's not the real problem.
Yes. And why is that?
Because it's something in the subconscious.
So you're 100% correct. This is a symptom. So I want you to think back over all your past clients and everybody that said to you what their problem is. The mindset I want you to have is they're lying. All a client can tell us is their conscious conclusion. They're going to tell us their experience of the problem. But we all know that the real problem exists unconsciously. Would everybody agree with that? Okay. So how on earth could you prepare for something you don't even know what it is yet? How? Why would you sit there for 2 hours writing a script on a symptom? How could you prepare for a stop smoking session when you're not helping a client quit smoking? Bit of freedom, right? Who likes the idea of that? Now, I'm not just going to say these things, I'll prove these things. Okay. Now, if you've ever found yourself going around and around and around in circles with clients, and it's not at your fault, I've done it too myself, it's because you're so busy trying to fix the symptom, we're not getting to the root cause. Now, who's heard that idea for root cause before? Who's heard that? It's pretty common, right? But most people are taught that root causes all exist because of anxiety. Who's heard that before? All problems exist because of inner child problems or healing. All problems exist because of money blocks. All problems exist because your mother spanked you on the backside when you were 3 years old. These are now conclusions. So here's what happens in the big scheme of things. You have clients coming in through no fault of their own, wanting to tell you their problem, but only giving you conclusions. And now you've got the therapist who's been taught these conclusions by another guru, goes into the session having their own conclusions. What do you think happens? They clash. You've got the therapist guessing, and you've also got the client guessing. Has anyone found themselves so utterly confused with what to do with your clients, no matter how simple the problem seems? What I want you to do over the next 2 days is I'm going to give you some new conclusions to have that'll make your life so much easier as a therapist, it'll almost seem laughable to solve very big problems for your clients. Who likes the idea of that? Okay. Life is full of conclusions. Your problems exist because of the conclusions that you've created around them. I can't quit smoking because there's that conclusion word. I've smoked for 40 years. I'm never going to be able to give up on that. Okay. So if I'm the client and I say that, and then for instance, Paul comes in and says, okay, you're a smoker. The conclusions I have, because I've been told it that way, is all smoking exists because of a habit. Aha, I know the conclusion. So Paul comes in with his conclusion, client comes in with his conclusion or her conclusion, and ultimately just breaks down and fails. Okay. So what I want to do is the first conclusion I want to give you guys, and please remember this, anything your client tells you is absolute garbage. It's a lie. It's a guess. Would everyone agree with that? Is anyone having a hard time sort of thinking about that? And I'll prove it to you. I'll show you guys. Doesn't that make it easier? Client says, I want to quit smoking. Think, okay, well, I'm not going to help you quit because that's not the problem. Freedom. That's way better. Rather than pressure like, shit, I hate smokers. What the hell am I going to do? I don't have the right scripts for that. I don't have the right timeline for that. Like, God damn. No more of that. Okay. So the first thing to remember is as we go through this little demo, we're going to get into something, but we must start from somewhere. Yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you exactly where to start. Okay. we're going to do a quick chat sort of a demo, and we're going to explore something called the hypnotic interview. Is there anyone who's familiar with the hypnotic interview? I've talked about it a lot. So the hypnotic interview is really just a fact-finding mission. This is the place where we find out what the real problem is. And I'm going to teach you guys how to witness conscious information versus unconscious information. If there was one thing you could take away from this training that I guarantee will change your career, it's just learning to decipher what is conscious and what is unconscious. Now, for us as therapists, should we concentrate more on the conscious information that a client tells us or the unconscious information? What do you guys think?
Unconscious.
Unconscious? Yep. And if I say unconscious, it's subconscious. I don't know, there's all these other it's all the same thing, so don't worry about the lingo too much. I'm going to show you again how to decipher that information, because when you get really good at figuring out what is conscious, you can ignore what is conscious and focus on what is unconscious, because that's where the problem really exists. Okay, so let's do a demo of this. I've done